Hi there, today I'm making a video on the Shortcut Slot Scan2Cut feature. I did one when it first came out and it's a very old video now, so I thought I'd do another one on it. Now I realised that one of the reasons that some people might want to do a Scan2Cut is to cut out their stamped images. So this is what I'm going to show you how to do. Now you don't have to do it with stamped images, it could be various other things, decorative papers, patterns, so on. But I wanted to show it and I figured this was a clear way of showing you the process. So first of all, I'm going to get my stamp inked up and I'll stamp it. Now this piece of paper has been made to a specific measurement. I cut it out on the silver bullet because I probably wouldn't be able to cut it anywhere near as accurately by hand, and it's an 8cm square. You don't have to do it on this size, I've just chosen an 8cm square. The reason will become clear later, don't worry. So I'm just going to get my stamp and stamp it on my paper. Now you notice I haven't even chosen white paper. Okay, but I have a nice stamped image, and you want preferably to have a nice clear design to do this. So, what we now need to do is to scan this. Now if I were to put this directly onto the scanner and put it onto the scanning bed, the problem would be in actually seeing the defined edges. Now yes, you can see them because it's a coloured paper, but if I'd put a white paper down and I was trying to scan a white piece of paper against a white scanner background, which they generally are, that isn't that easy to do. So the way to do it is to just get a piece of scrap paper in a nice contrast colour. It doesn't matter what colour it is, it doesn't matter how big it is, it doesn't matter if it's skewed, square, wiggly wobbly shape, anything, it doesn't matter. And what you're going to do is to put your image on the piece of paper like that, turn it over and scan it like that. And there's a very good reason for this. It's so that when you do your Scan2Cut, when you do your custom size, you'll be able to adjust the points to the corners because you'll be able to see them. There's no pen marks to put on there, there's nothing. You know that that is 8cm by 8 or whatever size you've decided to do. And it will show up because it's going to contrast against that blue background. Now I'm going to put this in my scanner and then I will come back to you on the computer and show you the process from there. Please excuse the humming in the background, that's my silver bullet. It kind of sings to you while it's in standby mode. Right, so I have scanned my image and what I'm going to do is go to File and Scan2Cut. And then I'm going to load my image. Now this box here shows my mat, and yes, it's black and white striped. I have a camera on my silver bullet and it shows me the mat for a very good reason, which you'll see in a moment. So I'm going to load the image and I need to move this out of the way so I can see it, and here we've got my scan. So we open that up. And I'm just going to move this over to one side. Actually, I need to move that down somewhere else. Okay, I'll move it down here for the moment. Now, what I need to do is to take each of these squares that are holding the green line and make the green line go around the outside of my beige piece of paper. So it zooms in and get it in position. It doesn't have to be absolutely precise because it's going to give you some more markers in a second. These are the initial ones and that will do for that, and then you go to next, or at least you would if you were doing something 14.798 by 20.998. I'm not, I have an 8cm square there, so I need to put in 8cm in that one, and I need to put 8cm in that one, and it will now know that I am using an 8cm square. So I click on next, And then these crosses go in the corresponding corners. You see that says top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right. So it tells you which colour goes where. And you simply put that there. This one goes in the bottom right. You can zoom in if you want to. And if you find you can't easily move things gently, you can use your shift key for smaller increments. I think that's probably about as close as I need be. And yeah, I think that will do the job. Okay, and we click OK. Now at the moment there are no cut lines on here. You must remember that there's no cut lines. So I'm going to put my camera box back up there. So this is the size of the box and it should be 8 centimeters square. And now I need to trace the image. So go to my trace and it's coming up with this. Now I can go to edit mode and go to crop. I'm just going to move this out of the way again. I've got it on the front of my screen because it saves me from having to locate it from another place. So I'm going to go to crop for there and I'm just going to crop this down to the flower. And you'll notice that I have the blackout option checked here so that I've only got an outside line. And I can pull that in there if I want to, it doesn't make much difference. If I'm happy with that, I can click OK, which I am. Now because I've got version 5 Pro and I don't know which version this came in, I get an option to continue tracing and I don't want to continue tracing anymore, so I click on no. And it has put my cut lines around and it's black because it's shadowed. Okay. Now, due to the fact that I have some very curly-whirly little lines there that I know are going to be a pain in the neck, will probably get broken when I release it from the mat, I really don't want to actually cut exactly that line. I want it to have a bit of an offset. And the easiest way of doing this, because it doesn't affect your normal cut line, this is for this occasion, is to go to the cut setting and take it from normal to shadow rounded. I'll go for. And I've got my shadow size set to 0.1 centimetre, so 1 millimetre. And if I go to preview, you can now see that my drawing lines are very slightly within that shadow line, and it's the red line that's going to be cut. So I'm done with that. So now I need to do my print and cut, but at the moment I haven't got my image on my mat, and that's why you can't see it there. Now because I cut out my image from a larger piece of card, I kept that card on my mat and I'm going to use the window that it came out of to reposition it, because my online status will be exactly where it needs to be. My blade will already be over the bottom right hand corner. So I'm going to do that. Put it into the hole that it came out of. Take away the paper that I cut it out from. And just use a couple of bits of tape to keep it in place there. Okay, so now when I press my machine to go online, you will see it jump, and there's my paper. And that is where I need to be. So, go to my cutter and go to print and cut. I'm going to go to next. And it does something unusual. When I normally do a print and cut, it starts off with the registration marks, and it does only 3 registration marks. With this, it puts 4 in. So I want to take my dot, which is my laser there, up to the top left corner, and I can use my shift and command keys to do tiny little increments. And take that up a bit more. Yeah, I think that's about right. Go to next. And and oops, a bit too much. There we go, go to next again, and tiny increments. I think that will do nicely. And then it's going to go to this bottom corner, which normally it wouldn't do. Okay, so am I happy with that position? I think I might need to go in just a little bit. Yeah, I think that's probably enough. And when I click next, it's going to start cutting out my and that is my image cut out. So that is how you use the scan to cut function with a silver bullet. A little tip for you, if you want to put dots in a square or rectangle around your design, you do need to have them accurately done. So the easiest way of doing that without making your own jig, and I did make a file with a whole load of dots in it, is to get a piece of grid paper, place it over your design, and then just stick a pin through on all four corners that you want. And then when you've got the pin marks, you can just put a pen mark over the top of that so you can see them a bit better. And then you will know that they're going to be true rectangles or true squares, because that makes a big difference to the accuracy of your cut at the end of the day. So here we have the result of my scan to cut. As you can see, it has a border around it where I put the shadow around it. And I think that was probably a sensible idea considering the width of the actual lines there. And in fact, I've got a second one because I messed up the filming on the computing side of things. So I did one and then I did another one. It's quite easy to do. As I said, it just takes a little bit of getting used to because you end up with 4 registration marks and not the usual 3. Or at least you do for the silver bullet version. I do not know if it's different on any of the other machines, whether the software works slightly differently. I don't know. So that's it. I think I've explained it as much as I can. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Bye bye.